my family, a part of them, they get killed. And I don't like to see people get killed. Those people that died, they was really close. I miss them like hugging me because I can't really hug them.
In 2015, nearly 3,000 people were shot in Chicago. That's an average of one person every 3 hours, more than any other city in the country.
What do the streets mean to you?
They shoot people too much around.
Have you seen that a lot?
Yes.
How old were you the first time you heard of someone getting killed?
7.
In this neighborhood, well, it's not civilized at all. You know, every day you gotta duck and dodge from bullets because people stand outside and actually have shootouts.
Life in Chicago's poorest neighborhoods can sometimes feel like a war zone.
Where did the bullets hit you?
In my chest. I got hit in the stomach, my pelvis, the back, and in my butt, and the leg.
You know which blocks to walk down, you know which ones you don't walk down.
Always just like pace, look out, because anything can happen anywhere.
There's no place to be safe.
Children are growing up without a baseline of safety. What are the long-term impacts of this continuous exposure to violence and trauma?
Every day it's hard waking up knowing, like somebody you know will probably get shot today.
Do you feel safe in this neighborhood, Laurie?
No.
No? Why not?
Because it's a lot of killing going on.
Fault Lines is in Chicago to examine the psychological toll of gun violence on kids in some of America's most dangerous and most neglected communities.
Do you think there's lots of other little girls like you who've experienced this?
15 shots fired, 4800 West Adams. 4 shots on the block.
We're on our way to the South Austin neighborhood on Chicago's west side. Someone has just been shot. People at the scene tell us a young man named Terrante Atkinson had been shot.
That could be my son. And that's the hard part about it. Because it could be anybody, kid. That's why you gotta stay prayed up around here. You gotta pray first. Pray for your kids. Pray for them to come back home to you.
Tonight, there have been 4 shootings.
4 shootings just tonight. In this neighborhood?
From here to the next corner.
We grew up in the neighborhood. That's something you're used to. This something, you don't want to get used to, but we are used to it. A lot of killing here.
Terrante died that night. He was 20 years old.
Just in the past hour, loud reports 2 gunshots heard near 82 Dobson. Shots fired, 3 heard near 80 Ellis. Ambulance took a gunshot victim from 55 Kedzie to Mount Sinai. Shot at 54 Holman. This is all just in the past hour. The body of the young man who was just killed is brought here to the hospital at Mount Sinai. Looks like his whole family is out here.
I'm angry. I'm tired. All our black young men, especially our babies, they haven't really got a chance to grow up.
How does this affect the younger kids in your family?
They have a lot of questions.
What do you tell them?
Why? Well, right now I have a 9-year-old, so therefore when I get back home, I have to explain to her that the bad guy came up and shot Terrante. So I'm saying, so now this is another thing she have to go through.
Yeah, I'm 20 years old.
21, right?
20. $511.95, ain't that 20? He paid 21. He wasn't even legal yet. 20.
I deal with this every day of my life. Every day of my life, I have to deal with Stalin with them babies. They miss their daddy. 3 damn kids. They got to deal with them not having their father every day. Them cars are getting killed. Where's my daughter? These motherfuckers are helping cool. Sister ain't shit.
Chicago has struggled for years to stem the ongoing violence, but the impact goes far beyond the lives that are lost. For kids, growing up around this violence can have a profound and long-lasting effect on their health and outlook on life.
For a lot of our young people, their development is really shaped around trauma and is shaped around violence.
We went to one of the city's top children's hospitals to meet with Dr. Bradley Stolbach. He directs a hospital-based program to help youth deal with the psychological effects of violence.
Many of our youth and their families would meet the diagnostic criteria for PTSD. And there are a lot of parallels to PTSD in people who've been in combat, but it's only one piece of the puzzle. Developmental trauma disorder is an attempt to describe the impact of trauma on young people who've been through ongoing, repeated, extreme violence. The main thing is that it's not single episode kind of thing, it's ongoing. So the violence and the threat of violence is ever present.
Turn it around, turn it around, turn it around. He's gonna turn
When you consider that this year so far we've had 2,500 people shot, and then you consider all of the loved ones, all of the witnesses, that there are literally thousands and thousands of people who are directly affected by this every day who are not offered any kind of support or help to deal with it.
3 nights after his murder, Tarante's family gathered at the gas station where he was shot. But they don't know who killed Tarante or exactly why.
Nobody.
2 years ago, Tarante's cousin was killed on this same corner. His family says they're tired of burying their loved ones.
Are those the marbles you picked up from there?
Yeah.
How many did you get?
A lot.
Y'all are holding up pretty well. It's just been a few days.
When I was found the other day he passed, I was shocked.
You were shocked? You never expected something like this, right?
No, not that soon. He was only 20, so.
Do you feel safe in this neighborhood?
No, not over here.
No? Why not?
Because it's dangerous.
Yeah? What does that mean?
People is getting killed out here. And I don't want to get killed.
What was it like going back to that same place today when you were singing?
I was hurt. I was crying. Because that's why he got killed that's why.
That's his favorite place to dance.
Yeah, he loved to dance.
He used to dance right there at that gas station?
Yeah, that's why I showed you the video.
Yeah.
He dancing. He was right there, dancing.
Is that how you like to remember him?
Yeah.
What's the hardest part about this for you?
Not hearing his voice and how he died.
I'm on the
Just a few miles away, the very next night, we heard another man was shot and killed.
4563, I'm on scene and yeah, you will need a crime lab.
This whole place is a crime scene right now. Looks like the body's already been moved. The man might be in the hospital.
One after another, it seemed like a never-ending stream of shootings.
Several shots heard. Male 16 shot in the lower back at 7511 South Stewart.
Not one night goes by in Chicago without gunfire. The violence here is unpredictable, and shootings don't only happen in the dark of night. A young man was shot and killed on this residential corner just minutes before we arrived at the scene. People here blame petty fights between gangs for much of the violence and say it's only getting more indiscriminate. Shootings are most frequent in the poorest and most under-resourced parts of Chicago, where local schools have been shut down, juvenile arrests and unemployment are high, and programs for youth are scarce. We're not far from Englewood, a notoriously violent neighborhood in the South Side.
In the neighborhood, you can't really feel safe. You just have to not expect things to happen, or don't hope for things to happen, or pray that things won't happen.
15-year-old Rosalind Collins comes to this boxing gym to escape the violence on her streets. Crusher's Club is a safe haven for local kids.
How many people who you know have gotten shot?
Plenty, y'all. I don't think I can count them.
And how many people have died because of gun violence?
Plenty.
Did you know? Is that pretty normal around here?
Yes. Like if you don't know somebody that's gotten shot or that's gotten killed, like you're weird or something. Like you gotta know someone who's got killed. Like everyone has a shirt that says "Rest in Peace" on it. I have dreams where things that happen in reality don't really happen. You know, like my dreams, people can't get shot. You cannot get shot. It's impossible. I don't know why, but it is. Like,
people have superpowers?
No, you just can't get shot. There's no guns. And they're not stupid people. There's nobody to influence the kids, you know, to hold a gun and everything. You know, most of them are not real gang bangers. They just claim the gang because, you know, they have to. They live on that block. You live on this block, you automatically part of that block, because if you on somebody else's block, even if you don't gang bang and they know you from that block, then you're getting killed, so why not gang bang? Like, there's no one out there trying to help them, trying to get them off the streets, getting them any alternative. So every day they wake up knowing, you know, like, I might die today, but I'm gonna die knowing my brothers are still with me. And, you know, when they join the gang, they're not looking for anything but love and respect, and they get that.
Do you think there's anything that can change the situation?
No. I feel like we've been ignored for so long.
We're in the most economically and racially segregated place in the United States. We have people living in communities where they have very little opportunity. They have no access to a lot of the services that people in other communities have.
Dr. Stolbach's program reaches about 250 kids a year, just a small fraction of those who are impacted by trauma.
When you're constantly exposed to violence or constantly under threat, or you feel as though you're constantly under threat, the parts of the brain that are involved in learning get shut off. And what happens is the surviving brain takes over. And so they're constantly in survival mode. They are functioning. It's not that they're not functioning. It's that they are functioning with very little sense of a future, very little hope. One of the manifestations of that is this almost chaotic violence that we're seeing.
17-year-old Diamante Lee was shot 5 times one night, just over a year ago. He's been extra vigilant ever since.
I watch everything, like every little thing. If somebody walking behind me and they just been walking by me for like the past couple of minutes, I stop and let them walk ahead of me, so I just, wouldn't be afraid as much.
He had just finished playing basketball at the park, he says, when a man randomly approached him.
A couple of seconds later, he was reaching for something. I didn't know what it was. So, just froze up. And he just started shooting. Once he started shooting, I just ran. And as I was running, they were just hitting me, but I just kept going. Like, I was asking myself, like, why this happened to me? But the best thing for me not to do, I just didn't panic. I was just trying to breathe and stay calm.
What were you most worried about at that moment?
Dying, really. But I don't give up that easy. So. From being through something like this can really affect like your mind. You think so many things that a person my age shouldn't really be thinking about. And it's real scary.
Yeah, what was the scariest part for you?
I mean, jumping up in the middle of the night, cold sweats, yelling, screaming. It was like just hearing the sound of the gun, of you being shot over and over. It's like, it's scary. It really bothers you.
You could actually hear the sound.
Yeah, like then it's like after you wake up from it and like your ears just ringing.
Diamante has worked with counselors at Cook County Stroger Hospital since he was shot to deal with the symptoms of traumatic stress. But he still doesn't always feel safe.
One day I went up there just to see how I feel, and I actually stepped in the spot I was shot, and I was just like, no, I ain't coming back here no more. I had cold chills, I was shaking, and just made me think about that night, so I'm like, I gotta go.
Just by being there?
Yeah.
So you don't go to that park anymore?
No.
When a person has been through a lot of trauma, almost anything can be a trigger. And by a trigger, that means that it's something that's going to bring the trauma to the forefront, whether consciously or unconsciously. If people are essentially walking around in survival mode all of the time, and they haven't been given the support that they need to develop the capacity to regulate their own emotions and behavior adequately, then they are at any moment ready to go off and do something. All that matters is, what do I need to do now to survive?
Living in survival mode can have grave consequences, even for young children. Joseph Cook experienced this firsthand. He says he started carrying a gun when he was 12 years old.
I used to gangbang, hold the guns, sold drugs before, whole lot. Used to be on the corners, whole lot of stuff.
Why did you have guns?
Protect myself. I almost lost my life, like, I say good 3 times. I got stabbed trying to break a fight up. Got stabbed 3 times. I've been shot at. I thought I was gonna die because I had to hide under the car because the dude just kept shooting. I didn't know when he was gonna stop.
Did you ever shoot at anyone when you had a gun?
Yeah.
Why do you think there's so much violence here? You said this isn't like other parts of Chicago. What's the reason? Why does this keep happening?
A lot of people, I say it's hope. A lot of people ain't got hope around here, or they ain't working, or it's hard for them to get a job. So they feel like, if I ain't got no job, I'm just gonna start robbing people or just start shooting people. I don't care no more. I ain't got nothing to live for. Or if they got people they lost, just all type of reasons.
Joseph says too many youth like him grow up feeling like they have to carry guns for protection and could easily end up in prison or dead.
And I started paying attention, like, why a lot of people get killed for, why a lot of people get locked up for. I told myself, like, I want to change, but I still got a chance.
How did you feel when you decided to stop carrying a gun?
Felt good. I got something to live for now.
Many of our young people will tell us if something doesn't change, somebody's going to get hurt. They don't want to hurt people, but they're walking around with rage, they're walking around with incredible pain, loss, sadness, grief that is so tightly contained all the time that when something triggers it, it can blow with a tremendous amount of force. We've got to figure out ways to help them with the righteous rage and grief that they feel day to day, or it will be expressed in ways that are destructive to them and to the people around them.
Yea, though I walk through the valleys of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil, for thou art with me. Thy rod and thy staff that comfort me. Thou preparest the table before me in the presence of my enemy. Thou anointest my head with oil, and my cup runneth over. Surely goodness and mercy shall follow me all the days.
Hundreds of people came to say goodbye to Terante Atkinson, the young man who was shot and killed at the corner gas station. Police are still investigating his murder, but his family is unsure they will ever get any answers. Last year, less than 50% of murders in Chicago were solved. And residents say they have little trust in the Chicago police or the authorities. These are communities under constant stress, living in conditions of neglect and danger unknown to wealthier parts of the city. As the shootings continue, another generation is coming of age, traumatized and engulfed by violence, with few resources to support them.
What would you say to the people who are doing the killings?
Don't do that. It's a part of somebody's family. You never feel like how people get dead, so don't do that to us.
You think they understand that for every person that was killed, there's like a little girl like you who misses them?
No, they don't understand. Because if they would stop. I just don't want nobody else to get killed.